6 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hail to the king, baby.
Welcome, one and all, to the World of Stu. Hello and welcome to episode 51 of World of Stu. I, of course, am the Stu in World of Stu, and without further ado, allow me to introduce my co-host. Now, I haven't actually thought of an introduction for him this week, so while I'm doing it on the fly, he is the Boba Fett to my Lando Calrissian. It's Dave.
Hey, cool, that makes me sound like a really cool one, because whoever liked Lando Calrissian?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Lando Calrissian, man. That dude went on to become Harvey Dent.
He did, but that just shows you, that just exposes you for not being a Star Wars fan, because, who wouldn't want to be Boba Fett?
Boba Fett doesn't do anything except die.
Very true. He does die in a very lame way, but, he's cool.
Okay, fair enough. Right. Jumping straight into the show, before we get on to anything, I just wanted to quickly, and we'll cover this particular film in the news as well, but I just wanted to revisit Batfleck versus Superville.
Okay.
Because I've watched it again. Right?
Okay.
And
I've heard a lot of people say that they enjoyed it more the second time.
Well, I'm the opposite.
Okay.
Right. Now, when I first watched this, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Right? I then thought about it, and I got mad every time I thought about it, so I reduced my score to a 3 out of 10. I have since rewatched the film, and I've done a review on our website, which is silentmovieman.wix.com/World of Stu, where I've given a second review of the film, and I've given it a 1.
A 1? That is harsh.
Because even when I first discussed this review, the great bit about that film for me is the Bruce Wayne scene at the beginning, right?
Okay.
But even that, the second time I watched it, made me mad.
Why did that bit make you mad?
Because he's running through, and then he stands there, and he's talking to his mate on the phone who's in the building, and then he pulls the girder off the dude who's got the dodgy legs and all the rest of it. And then a girl is stood there, right? And he runs across and he saves her. Okay, nothing wrong with that. That's very heroic, right?
Right.
He then goes, "Don't worry, we're going to find your mum. Where is she?" And she points up to the building that's just collapsed. So my question is, what in the hell is that girl doing standing on the street?
Yeah, very true.
When her mum's at work?
You got a point there, maybe just bad babysitting, I guess.
Just little things like that. Like, the second time I watched it, just really infuriated me. And then there's obviously all the main points that we've discussed before. And I got to the Martha bit, and it actually just made me laugh the second time.
Okay, see, my view of this film is still pretty much it's got some really good points. I think Ben Affleck was good, Jeremy Irons was good. Some of the action is really good. Gal Gadot is really good as Wonder Woman, briefly. But it's got so much bad going for it as well. It's got Henry Cavill being just stymied and constipated in the role of Superman. It's got Superman being a Superman I don't even recognise. It's got a plot that barely even makes sense in any way.
Something else as well, right? You mentioned Batfleck there, right? There's another scene in it, just a little tiny scene, where he is down in the Batcave, staring stoically at his Batsuit, right?
Right.
He then turns around, he shuts the door on it, and he walks past the Robin suit, which has got the "ha-ha, the joke's on you, blah, blah, blah." that scene is in this film for no reason whatsoever, because he is about to go to the party at Lex Luthor's house, right? He has no reason to be down in the cave, and even if he is in the cave, why is he randomly just staring at his own suit?
Well, he's thinking. Yeah, I like to think this is maybe the bit where he's trying to think of going back into action. But for me, I got a bit angry the other day when I think I got a bit angry on one of our last podcasts as well, because I picked up one of my comics. It happens to be whichever issue it is. Superman and Doomsday, their final fight, where Superman gets killed. Yeah.
This is going back now, the old school comic, yeah.
Yeah, obviously this is going right back to the old school comic, the original Death of Superman. And I just thought, you know what? Zack Snyder, for whatever reason, they decided to wedge too much into this film. They said, okay, so we've got Batman versus Superman. We'll have Batman versus Superman, which is going to be a bit of like a Dark Knight Returns, and we'll get all this stuff from the future and setting up the Justice League. So we're going to have that in there, setting up Justice League, and then we're going to have the end with Doomsday, and that's going to be Death of Superman. It's like, it's too much, dude. The Death of Superman should be like in 3 or 4 movies' time, when, you know, Doomsday pops out and he takes out 1 or 2 members of the Justice League, and you're like, oh my god, who's going to stop him? Who can stop him? It's like our greatest hero who we love so much. It's just wasted.
Do you know another little thing in the film, right? Where Batman calls Superman over for their fight, and Lex Luthor sends Superman to fight Batman, and they start having a punch-up. Superman has smacked the kryptonite spear into the ground and left it somewhere, right? Ready to use later. How in God's name can he possibly know that the fight is going to end up there? That makes no sense whatsoever.
It's just a piece of very convenient filmmaking, isn't it?
The whole thing is just crap, and if I could give it less than 1, which technically I could because it's my score, I would, but it doesn't deserve any more than the bloody 1 I've given it.
Okay, so here's a prediction now. Lay your cards on the table. So, Batman versus Superman, it's the amount of money it's taking has slowed drastically, hasn't it?
We will be discussing this in the superhero news, but yes, it has.
Okay, so do you think Civil War is going to take more money? Now, putting aside whether it's going to be better or worse, do you think it's going to take more money?
Undoubtedly, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I predict that it will take 200 million domestic in America in its opening weekend, and it will break the billion barrier with ease.
Yeah, it's got to be I think it's got to break $1 billion. I reckon. I wouldn't be surprised if it took quite a bit over $1 billion.
In fact, it could be almost as bad as Iron Man 3, and it would still be better than Batfleck versus Superville.
Yeah, I think it could be as bad as that and still take a lot of money. But I think it's actually going to be really good and take a load of money.
Right, so let's make one, while we're talking about Civil War there for a moment, one prediction. Is anyone going to die at the end of that film?
I think at least 2 characters are going to die.
Who?
That's what I reckon. I think maybe Rhodes towards the start. I think maybe War Machine towards the start, or maybe about a third of the way in. And I'm kind of curious if they're going to go full whole hog and have Captain America die at the end.
See, I'm going to go with you and say War Machine, and then I'm going to say Hawkeye is finally going to get it.
Hawkeye as well? No, I don't know. Oh, surely not Hawkeye. Hawkeye's great.
Yeah, well, we will wait and see. So, I just had to have that little rant about Batfleck versus Superville. We will not mention it again because it basically makes me mad. But before we start with the movie news, Dave, 2016, the year of death, has struck again.
I know, it's just ongoing. It's terrible.
It's absolute madness. First up, we had Victoria Wood, who is, I think, fair to say, and I'm not a fan of Victoria Wood, but she is a trailblazer and a legend in British comedy for women.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely humongously talented and just outrageously funny for And a really good actress as well.
Although you would think, watching the news stories about her, that she only ever wrote one song. Because every single time I turn on the news, they just had her singing that Let's Do It song.
Yeah, you would. And that is a great song, not taking anything away from it, but she did do a lot. She had a great catalogue of work.
Also, this week, again, not someone I was particularly a fan of, but a huge deal to the music business, was Prince died.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, a soundtrack for Batman, one of the greatest superhero movies ever, and he did the soundtrack. Yeah,
all I think of is Prince is that one video he did when I was a teenager, and it was what was the song called?
It wasn't Purple Rain, was it? I'm not.
Not Purple Rain. No, I'm talking about a sexy video where there's like two women and there's like loads of sexual innuendo. Anyway, that was a very good video when you were a teenage boy. And moving on from that, Billy Paul died this week as well. I don't know if you saw that one. He sang he's most famous for singing the song Me and Mrs. Jones.
Oh, I didn't see him, no.
Right, but in terms of this show, and in terms of people we know and people we relate to, the biggest death this week, of course, was Joanie Laurer, who is also known, of course, as
Chyna.
Yeah, she died this week at the age of 45 from what it's turning out to be apparently is drug related, which isn't really a big surprise, is it?
Yeah, very sad in that way.
She, of course, trained under Killer Kowalski, who's a famous wrestler who also trained Triple H. She was brought in originally as Triple H's bodyguard. I'll never forget her debut where she leaned over the barricade and basically throttled Marlena.
Yeah, let's face it. In terms of wrestling, again, she was a trailblazer. She just did. There's so many things she did first.
Well, she was a key. She was a key member of DX.
Of course.
She was the first female ever in the Royal Rumble.
That's still a big deal. She's the first and only so far, isn't she?
No. There's been a couple since then. We've had Beth Phoenix. She was in it.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, Beth Phoenix actually eliminated the Great Khali.
Oh, that would have been funny to see.
By way of Kiss.
Kiss?
Yes, and I'm not talking about the rock band.
Okay.
And she is also the only female in the history of the WWE to win the Intercontinental title.
Which Chris Jericho must have been thrilled at.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she was, of course, pushed out of the company after Triple H dumped her and shacked up with Stephanie McMahon. And she then obviously went off the rails a bit and ended up doing various pornographic films. One where it's a parody of the Avengers and she plays She-Hulk.
She would have been good in that role anyway, let's be honest.
Yeah, but this is the porn version.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go there.
There's also another one where she plays a female wrestler and she has a gangbang with parody versions of like Vince McMahon and John Cena and the Iron Sheik.
It sounds like you're quite familiar with these.
I do my research when I'm doing these stories, Dave.
So it was just research, was it?
It was just research, and let's be honest, she was in a lot better shape than Sunny.
Yes, very true.
So, we shouldn't, make fun or, chuck light on it, because it is very sad that she has died. But again, in the wrestling world, following on from Ian Rotten and Balls Mahoney, too many people dying too young, something needs to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's try and be more upbeat now, shall we, as we begin with this week's movie news.
From the furthest reaches of the Geek universe, it's the World of Stu news.
Now, Disney's live-action remake of The Jungle Book. Have you seen this yet?
I haven't. A colleague went to see it yesterday, and they said it was really good. They really enjoyed it.
Well, it has taken the second biggest opening in US box office history, raking in $103.5 million.
That is astounding. I never expected it to do that.
Its global opening is $262 million, and it has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 95%. which when you compare that to Batfleck versus Superville's 27%, that's quite impressive.
That is really impressive. I'm going to have to go see this now.
Following on from working together on the upcoming release Central Intelligence, The Rock and Kevin Hart are both in talks to be a part of the proposed Jumanji reboot. It has since been confirmed that The Rock is definitely on board.
You know what? Is this really a film that needs a remake?
What? No film needs a remake, Dave, but Hollywood is devoid of originality. So if they're going to remake something, they might as well remake this. And the Rock's pretty bankable, isn't he?
He is bankable, and Kevin Hart, he's a funny-ish guy as well. I'm sure he'll make enough money, but I just question the need to put these guys in it, and instead of just saying, oh well, let's just make a Jumanji 2 or Jumanji Continued, something like that. I don't know.
Now I've got a story about Star Wars, right, The Force Awakens, but before I cover that, I don't know if you've seen the alleged plot leak for Star Wars Episode 8.
I have not, no.
Well, this alleged plot leak, and this is coming from a source that apparently has been very creditable in the past, right? They are saying that, and some of it sounds possible, and then some of it sounds quite ridiculous, but it turns out, according to this plot leak, that Luke Skywalker is not Rey's dad.
Okay, I didn't think he would be, but okay, go ahead.
But do you know why?
Why is that? Well, I would have thought, just being me, I would have thought that Luke would have gone the way of the traditional Jedis and not had any kind of relationship or wife or anything like that.
Now, you see, that would be the sensible explanation, Dave. But according to this leak, it's because Rey is Luke's dad.
What? That's just...
And it goes on to explain that the reason for this is because the Chosen One, which of course was Anakin, is a bit like a Matrix style thing where he wasn't the first Chosen One, and he was actually the reincarnation of the previous Chosen One. So once he dies, he needs to be reincarnated, and he is reincarnated as Rey, which means Rey is technically Luke's dad.
So Rey is the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker?
Yes. Which would explain the rumours that we had that Hayden Christensen was filming scenes for the second film.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that's... her being the reincarnation of Darth Vader, that could be possible, but I'd question... That wouldn't really mean she was his dad. That would just be silly.
And apparently, according to this leak, there is actually a line in the film where Luke says, "No, you are my father."
No, that would be bad. That would be very, very bad.
It'd be interesting if that actually comes true, how the hardcore Star Wars fans, I mean the proper hardcore, I know you're a big fan, but you're not what I would call hardcore, the proper hardcore fans defend it.
Yeah, I think the proper hardcore fans defend pretty much anything in there, don't they?
But anyway, going back to The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams has addressed the similarities between Force Awakens and New Hope, and this is what he had to say. The Force Awakens was a bridge and a kind of a reminder. The audience needed to be reminded what Star Wars is, but it needed to be established with something familiar, with a sense of where we are going to new lands, which is very much what 8 and 9 do. The weird thing about the movie is that it had been so long since the last one. Obviously the prequels had existed in between, and we wanted to sort of reclaim the story. So we very consciously, and I know it is derided for this, we very consciously tried to borrow familiar beats so that the rest of the movie could hang on something that we knew was Star Wars. Now, whilst that's fair enough, I also think it's a little bit bollocks.
How's that then?
Because he's saying we wanted to remind people what Star Wars was. Everybody knows what Star Wars is. I'm not even a fan, and even I know what Star Wars is.
Okay, but I think he's got a point there. It kind of reminds us what Star Wars could be. Instead of launching really quickly into something new and different, I feel like this is not only is it a really familiar universe and really familiar characters, but I think at the end of it, they've taken that step and they've got a new bunch of characters who they've very quickly established. You know, they've got Rey established, they've got Finn established, they've got Poe Dameron, and they've got Kylo Ren established as well. They've got the relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey established already. So I think they definitely took that step at the end of the movie to say, you've had this movie, now we're moving on to the new generation of characters who are just going to take it from here.
Can I just say, actually, before we move on to the next story, I just got an email from WWE Research asking me for my opinions on current programming, so I'm going to enjoy filling that out later on.
Okay, yeah, I imagine there are going to be some quite derisory comments in there, which deservedly so.
Moving on with news. In further whitewashing controversy, many fans are complaining about the first images of Scarlett Johansson as the Major in the live-action version of Ghost in the Shell. Now, the Major is actually a Japanese character, which is why many are unhappy. Making matters worse, it is rumoured that the studio had conducted digital effects tests to make the white actors appear Asian. Now, the studio in question is Paramount, and they have confirmed that there were tests, but only on background characters and none of the leads.
Okay, this is a bit weird, isn't it?
So, yeah, thoughts on that?
You know what, there's been a lot of controversy about whitewashing in films lately, and for some studios, some films, yeah, I think they've got a point. For others, look, they're just choosing the best person for the film, the best person for the job. Just let them get on with it.
Yeah, but to go so far as to try and digitally make people look Asian, that's a bit weird.
That is weird, and I think that, you know, don't do it. Just have the right characters, have the right people in the film, or don't. Right,
Kevin Smith news. We haven't spoken about Kevin Smith for a few weeks. He has revealed that the MPAA have given his new movie, Yoga Hosers, which, if it's anything like Tusk, is going to be absolutely an abortion of a film. They've given it an R rating based purely on the appearance of a drawing of a pair of testicles on a book cover. This has irked Smith as he is targeted to film at teenage girls, calling the movie a Clueless meets Gremlins film, in which he deliberately refrained from bad language in order to reach his target audience. So 2 things to take from there. Number 1, Kevin Smith is now making films for teenage girls, and number 2, it was given an R rating purely because there's a drawing of a pair of balls.
Just take the picture out. Just do something else instead. I don't know, but yeah, you don't want your film having an R rating, do you? It's for teenage girls.
Have you seen Tusk yet?
I haven't seen Tusk. Just on the description. I'm waiting to see if I can find a copy somewhere for like £1 or £2. But
oh, trust me, you'll find one somewhere. Now, your mate James Cameron has stated that all 4 Avatar sequels, because remember last week we discussed that he's making 4 new films now, will be shot as one big production. He has said that it's not back-to-back, it's really all one big production. It's more the way you would shoot a mini-series, so we'll be shooting across all scripts simultaneously. So Monday, I might be doing a scene from movie 4, and Tuesday, I might be doing a scene from movie 1.
Okay, don't you think this is somewhat of a risk?
It's not really a risk, is it? Because he hasn't done anything yet.
No, he hasn't done anything. That's been my point for a while. Is that, you know, look, James, stop messing around saying there's going to be an Avatar 4, 5, and 6, but we haven't made 2 yet. I mean, he could make 2. He could release 2. It's like, okay, 2 bombs. No one was interested now. No one wants to see Smurfs fighting giant mech machines. So now no one's interested. Are you still going to release 3 and 4, even though they're probably pants as well?
Well, judging by this, if he's making them all back to back, then yes, they will be.
Yeah, exactly. It could just turn into the next Matrix.
And nobody cares.
Exactly.
Speaking of the Matrix, have you caught up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet?
I haven't watched the last episode on Sunday, but I have seen him wandering around in his Neo suit, yeah, and I was kind of, what is going on there? What kind of fashion statement is he trying to make?
Agent Ward is the one.
Agent Ward is the one, and I don't get it. He's been stuck on an alien planet for this long, and yet all of a sudden he's like, do you know what? I fancy wearing a long trench coat and walking around, wafting around me like this. I don't get it.
Speaking of stupid ideas, apparently Universal and Fox are both pushing forward with comedies about the ride-sharing service Uber.
How? Why?
They're both making comedies about Uber, and apparently Will Ferrell will star in the Universal movie, which is the primary reason why I won't be watching that.
Yeah, you know what, Will Ferrell, he can be a funny guy sometimes, but I think a little dose of Will Ferrell is funny, and too much is just, not for me.
More than 2 minutes is too much.
Yeah, I agree.
In some good news, or some potentially good news, Emilia Clarke has confirmed that she will not be appearing in any further Terminator films.
Yay!
Which means hopefully they won't make any.
Yeah, from the last Terminator film, where do they go from there anyway? They just destroyed the future, so when are they going to make another Terminator film? Who knows?
Maybe what they'll do is they'll go back in time and they'll collect up all the different people that played John Connor.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? You could have, the John Connor versus the Terminator verse. You'd have, maybe they have to go back in time and make sure it actually does happen so that John Connor exists.
Speaking of weeks as we were earlier with Jumanji, apparently Vampire Diaries actress Nina Dobrev has joined Sony's Flatliners remake.
Flatliners remake?
Yeah, she's going to star alongside Ellen Page and Diego Luna. The remake will be directed by Girl with the Dragon Tattoo helmet Niels Arden Oplu and written by source code scribe Ben Ripley.
Okay, that could be interesting. I mean, I do love the original Flatliners. It's a very good film.
Which means you're going to hate the new one.
Yeah, absolutely. But, it could be good. I don't know. It means the original one was a great idea, but it was kind of limited by the time it was made, wasn't it?
The next news story, I've written purely 4 words, and I'm going to read them out, and then I'm handing it over to you, okay?
Okay.
New Doctor Who companion.
Yeah, I saw this. What can I say? I mean, as a short little mini episode, it kind of worked. As a little fun 3-minute episode of, hey, look, there's a new companion introducing blah-de-blah as Bill. But, okay. Fine, yeah, you've got a new companion. Peter Capaldi looks great and kind of cool as the Doctor, as usual. But it's like, you're not making a series this year. How am I supposed to care? Why am I supposed to care that you've got a new companion, and I'm not receiving a new companion for another year and a half?
Well, do you think they're sort of paying lip service to the fans who, well, not even necessarily fans, but people who aren't necessarily fans, who say, well, the Daleks look stupid because they've just got rubber plungers on their face and stuff. So they're kind of putting in an everyman character who kind of questions everything. Because normally, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the assistant normally just accepts what's happening and gets on with it. Whereas this one, it would appear, is going to question it, going, well, that's Cybermen. They can't turn their heads. Why don't we just run behind them?
Yeah, I mean, that could work. I mean, just about my favourite assistant of all time was Catherine Tate playing Donna, because she was funny. She didn't just walk around behind the Doctor going, "Oh, Doctor, you're so handsome and clever and brilliant." She would probably call him an idiot and pick him up on things that were stupid. So maybe if the new assistant can do that, that would be great. But I just question why they're telling us the new assistant now when they're not actually bothering to make a new series this year.
I think it was a ploy to make everyone watch the football.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Game of Thrones is obviously back. Are you happy about that? Did you like the first episode?
Don't get me started on this.
Okay.
I'm angry.
Alright, fair enough.
Okay. I'm not to be trifled with when it comes to a new episode of bloody Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Okay. I'll try and calm down a bit. Look, I'm not watching the new series of Game of Thrones. I have loved all the previous series of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
However, I have also read all the books. And now they've run out of books.
Well, am I right in saying that the TV series is now ahead of the book?
Yes.
Right, okay. So now they're in uncharted territory, making it up as they go along.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so George R.R. Martin has supposedly almost finished the new and last book. So I'm sure he's told the TV producers and directors what's going to happen. And it's differing a little bit from the books anyway. But I don't want to watch the new series and have a pretty decent idea of what's going to happen in the book, because that'll just ruin the book for me. Even though I don't feel the opposite way, even though I don't feel that reading the books would ruin the TV series. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but ignoring that for a minute, were you not impressed with the episode?
I didn't watch it.
Alright, okay, so just out of principle you're not watched it because you want to read the book first?
Yeah, just out of principle, I didn't watch it. Usually anyway, I wait until the series is finished and then I pick it up on... I stream it from somewhere. I buy the series on download.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to mention it because showrunners for the show have said that the whole thing, TV show, is planned to be finished within 7 seasons.
And this is new than our 6th series, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And you know what is also really annoying is the fact that it's really difficult to go anywhere online without seeing some kind of spoiler. You know, you click onto Facebook and there's a little link on the side on the news saying Game of Thrones premiere episode, highest ever ratings, and then you'll click onto Hotmail or MSN, any of those things, and there'll be a little link on somewhere showing you, terrible events in Game of Thrones, bloody start to Game of Thrones, or whatever. It's just, you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere without seeing some kind of spoiler for your favourite series. It's just really frustrating.
Well, the one place you can always go and not get any spoilers for Game of Thrones is this show, because I don't watch it.
You don't do it. I'm not sure you're not a huge fantasy fan, are you?
No. So, in our final bit of normal vanilla movie news this week, we have the announcement that the complete cast has been announced for the Twin Peaks revival.
Oh, this could be interesting.
Right, it is interesting. Trust me, listen to this list. So, along with most of the originals returning, some of them are obviously dead, we are going to see the likes of, get a load of this list, Monica Bellucci, Michael Cera, Ernie Hudson, awesome.
Yay.
Matthew Lillard.
I haven't seen him for a long time.
I haven't seen him since he played Shaggy in Scooby-Doo.
Talking about Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, have you seen images of DC's new Scooby comics?
No.
Have a look online, you'll be surprised.
Okay. Is he like a pit bull or something?
It's more they kind of almost steampunks Scooby-Doo.
Okay, I'll check it out. Going back to this list, here's one for you, Dave. Trent Reznor.
He's a big fan of David Lynch, so that doesn't surprise me.
Tim Roth.
Okay, he's always good.
Eddie Vedder.
Eddie Vedder?
As in the lead singer of Pearl Jam.
What the hell? What's he doing there?
James Belushi.
Okay.
Tom Sizemore.
Well, giving him a new chance. New career, who knows?
And Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts? Yeah, she's always good. Okay, this could either be one of the best things ever, or it could be absolutely dire.
I'm going to withhold judgment, but it's going to be difficult how they're going to get around the whole Bob thing, because the actor that played Bob died a few years back.
I'm sure they'll just introduce something new and totally weird, because it's going to be interesting as well to see what new audiences make of this, because the original was truly weird, wasn't it? And
the log lady's dead as well.
Oh, poor log lady.
Yeah. So, that was this week's movie news.
From the furthest reaches of the Geek universe, it's the World of Stu news.
Right now, Dave, before we get on to the superhero movie news, it is time for round 2 of this.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
So yes, it is. Tell me he didn't just say that. Dave is the quizmaster because obviously he kicked my butt when I was the quizmaster and he won 9-4. I am currently 1-0 up after getting 3 out of 3 on the works of the almighty Bruce Campbell. So Dave, what have you got for us this week?
Well, I have got none other than the legendary, and I think I might have made this a bit too easy for you in this respect, but the legendary, the pioneer himself, is Bill Murray.
Okay, well, this could go one of two ways, so off you go.
Okay, you know what, I was surprised when I looked at this just how many films Bill Murray had made in the last 10 years. I always thought he'd been kind of slowing down, but he's, if anything, he's kind of speeding up the production rate of his movies.
A lot of them are quite bad, though.
Yeah, very true. Garfield 2, for example.
Rock the Casbah.
Rock the Casbah?
Yeah, trust me, don't bother.
Okay, first off, you want more mysterious? I'll just try and think, where the hell's the whiskey? Was that Polonius in Hamlet? Was that Bill Murray as Bunny Breckinridge in Ed Wood? Or was it Bill Murray as Bob Harris in Lost in Translation?
How is that supposed to be easy? Right, okay. Lost in Translation, Ed Wood, or the other one. I'm gonna go with Lost in Translation.
It is Lost in Translation, you are correct.
Oh, get in, 1-0.
Well, surely if you... Well, okay, I think I've probably seen Lost in Translation like 3 or 4 times, but yeah, it is just great seeing Bill Murray just having to sell whiskey in an advert with some Japanese guys shouting at him and he's got no idea what they're talking about. But yeah, okay, 1-0 to you, okay. Ooh, I thought that was for a more difficult one as well, okay. You know, I'm not big on apologising, so I'll just have to skip it. It's all the same to you. Was that Bill Murray in Caddyshack? Was that Bill Murray in The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou? Or was that Bill Murray in Space Jam?
I am gonna go with The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Oh, damn you. Yes, 2-0 to you. That was The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
I am going to admit that was a jammy fluke, but that's 2-0, so I'm now 2 rounds to 0 up. But what was your third and final quote?
Third one was, it's your professionalism I respect. Was that Bill Murray in Garfield? Was that Bill Murray in Little Shop of Horrors? Or was it Bill Murray in Scrooged?
Scrooged.
No, it was not. That was Bill Murray in Little Shop of Horrors, of course, the 1980s musical version.
I've not actually watched that film, so...
Have you not watched that? That is, okay, it might not be your kind of film, but I always remembered it being quite cool.
Is Bill Murray even in that film? I don't remember him being in it.
Yes, he is. IMDb and the internet says he is, and I certainly remember him being in it, so yes, he is.
Okay, fair enough. So the score was 2-1. It is 2 rounds to 0 to me. First to 10. So that was, tell me, he didn't just say that.
Okay, I should just warn you that next week, the next Tell Me He Didn't Just Say That is going to be, I didn't have quite time to prepare it this week, but in light of the recent weekend anniversary, it's going to be a Shakespeare special.
Okay, or I can pretty much predict that you are going to win that one. But before we do this week's superhero news, just an announcement to make. Something coming up after the superhero news, Dave. We will be doing METH.
We'll be doing METH. Okay, I've never done it before, but I'm always up to new things.
But before that, here is this week's superhero news. Now, it is rumoured that apparently the X-Men franchise will head into the waters of the Dark Phoenix saga following the events of X-Men Apocalypse. Good news, bad news, good idea, bad idea?
This could be a really good idea. I think they did Phoenix in X-Men Last Stand, didn't they? But there's no reason why they couldn't do it again better.
Yeah, but they kind of touched upon it, didn't they? Was that really the Dark Phoenix saga?
Not really. It was Phoenix in a story. It wasn't the Dark Phoenix saga, was it?
No, you may not have spotted this, but Wonder Woman's sword and shield were inscribed with a quote using a made-up hybrid extinct language. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see that. It wouldn't surprise me, but okay, that's what does it. Do we know what it says?
Yeah, when it's translated into the English, it reads, "Life is killing all the time." And so the goddess kills herself in the sacrifice of her own animal.
Okay, that's random.
Yeah, I think it's just to try and show that she's a warrior and she's going to, I don't know, kill animals, maybe?
Does this have anything to do with the comics? I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Wonder Woman comics. Maybe someone out there can let us know if it's got anything to do with any of the Wonder Woman stories.
Maybe she's going to set up a farm.
That would make sense.
Battery chickens or something.
Or she's got a whip, maybe she's got a lasso, maybe she could, be a cow herder.
Now, this next story, I'm not convinced that this is particularly a good thing, but apparently Willem Dafoe has signed on to play a good guy in both Justice League movies.
Okay.
The reason why I don't think it's a good thing is because I don't think Willem Dafoe is a particularly great actor.
I think he's okay if he's given the right role. I think he was a bit cheesy in the original Spider-Man movies, but if he's given the right role, it could work. But I'm just not convinced that all the talent behind the Justice League movies know what they're doing.
I've actually written down that he is probably the worst superhero villain of the modern age. And that includes James Franco.
Does that include Doctor Doom?
Yes.
Oh, that's harsh.
Because at least Doctor Doom wasn't overacting like Willem Dafoe was as the Green Goblin.
Very true. Doctor Doom didn't really get a chance, did he?
No. Now, Redditor, cooler than a bag of ice is this Redditor's name, right? He has gone through the entire Dawn of Justice movie and broken down every scene to tally the total number of lines that Superman has in the entire film. What number of lines of dialogue do you think Superman / Clark Kent speaks in that entire film?
Okay, ooh, that's going to be interesting. Would it be over 100?
It would be less than 100, Dave.
Really? Less than 100? That is shocking. Has he gone through this? Does this mean Superman just as Superman, or when he's Clark Kent as well?
Both.
Because you don't see a lot of Clark Kent, really, do you?
No, so it's less than 100, so what's your next guess?
Okay, 70?
Less.
Ooh, okay. 45?
Less.
No way. 30?
More.
40?
More.
45?
You already said that. Less.
44?
Less.
41?
More.
42?
More.
43?
43 lines of dialogue, yeah.
That is just nuts. I mean, he's in the title of the film. I mean, I know he's not Mad Max. His movie career doesn't depend on just being silent, does it?
Well, it's just another thing about that film, isn't it? Speaking of that film, Warner Brothers are considering the release of the 3-hour-long R-rated cut of this Dawn of Justice into cinemas. Now, for me, this just smacks of a desperate money grab to boost the fairly unimpressive box office.
It does. This just sounds like they just want to kind of, let's just get it into $1 billion. Come on, we want to be able to say it took $1 billion.
Speaking of which, right, the current box office takings for Dawn of Justice are 850 million, there or thereabouts. Right, the box office takings for Zootopia are over 900 million.
Wow. Okay. That's. See, I would not underestimate just how much Warner Brothers and Marvel want to top each other at the box office this year. I reckon Warner Brothers desperately wanted this to be more successful than either of the Avengers movies or Captain America Civil War, but it's clearly not going to happen.
Funny you should mention that because, right, it has taken about 850 million, like I said, at the box office after 1 month. Like I said, Zootopia's taken over 900 million. However, the 319 million that it has taken domestically in the United States now means it has a higher domestic gross than both Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
Well, that's no surprise, was it? Iron Man 1 and 2. Seriously? Is that the bar they're going to set? It's like, okay, look, the first 2 Marvel Studios movies, okay, it took more than those with just Robert Downey Jr. in it, with just a superhero that no one really knew about yet, except comic book fans. But we took our biggest 2 names, Superman, Batman, versus, we put them in a movie, and now they've had a fight. It's not like you can do that again, is it? What are you going to do? Superman versus Batman 2. This time it's going to take 13 minutes.
It should also be noted that both of those Iron Man films cost significantly less to make.
Exactly, and that's just not... If you're going to measure it against Avengers or Avengers Age of Ultron. That's what you should be measuring against, surely.
So let's move away from DC and move over to Marvel. And it's been confirmed that Robert Downey Jr. will be making an appearance as Iron Man in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, this is quite cool. I know part of the deal Sony Paramount signed with Marvel was that Marvel Universe stars would star in Spider-Man movies as well. But let's hope that this works. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is always great.
But sadly, Michael Keaton has dropped out.
Oh, yeah. He was doing quality work recently, so he would have been more than welcome in the Spider-Man movie. But
Yeah.
What do you think of the idea of the new Spider-Man movie in the first place?
In what respect?
Well, I just think we've had 5 Spider-Man movies now in modern years. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, I think they had their faults. They had plenty of faults, but they had some good stuff as well. How necessary is it to kind of wedge Spider-Man into the Marvel Universe?
Well, they've basically just done it just so they can get him in Civil War, haven't they? Because Peter Parker is a big part of Civil War with the whole unmasking thing.
Yeah, but then again, we'll see. I'm going to go see it in 2 days' time, so we're going to... How big a deal is the unmasking thing in the Marvel comic universe when actually all the rest of the superheroes, everyone knows their names?
True. Speaking of Marvel movies that aren't controlled by Marvel, rumours have surfaced that in the final Wolverine film starring Hugh Jackman, Wolverine 3, we will see the Mutant X-23.
Yeah, that could be good, couldn't it? But hasn't it also been rumoured that it's going to be in the future?
Yeah, well they're talking about Old Man Logan, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Which, if they can make it work in some way without the Hulk, or Red Skull, or Hawkeye, or any other important Marvel character, that's good. It'll be great. But I've got my doubts whether it'll work without all those characters.
You're pretty much saying that it's Old Man Logan just without any of the characters except Logan.
Yeah. Old Man Logan without any of the rest of the story.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But X-23 could be cool. Find the right actress. She'll be cool, yeah.
Speaking of mutants, right? Now obviously there's been a lot of talk recently, and we've covered this, that maybe the X-Men are on the outs because Marvel want to push the Inhumans, right?
Yes.
And they've been a big part of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, the proposed Inhumans movie has been removed from the Marvel's release schedule.
Yeah, I saw this. This is... I was quite interested in this because I thought they had some great ideas for an Inhumans movie. It's just where to put that into the Marvel Comics universe. I mean, I know this is going to be the big question going forward, isn't it? They're just about halfway through Phase 3. They're going to have Infinity War 1 and 2. We know there's going to be Black Panther and Captain Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Where do you go after Infinity War?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because apparently Kevin Feige has been talking about that, saying that after Phase 3, Phase 4 will be completely different, in that you won't have necessarily Thor and Iron Man and Captain America. It will focus on the newer characters that are introduced at the end of Phase 3, so like Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and Black Panther. So they're moving away. They're basically saying, this is what we've done. 3 phases, they're gone. We're moving on to something new.
Okay, I agree with that. I appreciate that, because you can't go on making Iron Man movies forever. You can't keep the same actors all the time. But I would just, at that point, I'm going to begin to lower my expectations in terms of box office, because it's going to be characters which they're not as iconic characters, put it that way.
Yeah. Speaking of Doctor Strange, did you see the trailer?
I did. I quite like the trailer.
It just looked like Inception to me.
It did look a bit like Inception, but I liked that in the mind. It kind of made it look a bit mind-bending, a little bit magical. The only thing I am going to say is, when you saw Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange at the start, his overgrown beard, in that kind of Christian Bale Batman Begins kind of way at the start, looked a bit unconvincing, and his American accent didn't sound very good either. I'm just not sure how I feel about him using that American accent throughout the whole movie. I don't know.
Going back to the Inhumans, we mentioned Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Apparently, one of the team is going to die in the season finale of this season, Dave.
Good.
Who was your money on?
You know what? I really hope Sky dies. I know she's...
Sorry, Daisy.
But for me, she's just been a real pain in the backside for the whole series.
Well, she's one of the worst characters on TV outside of Laurel Lance in Arrow.
Oh, God, yeah. And you know what? In the last 2 episodes, I'm sure in the last 2 or 3 episodes I've watched, she's disobeyed orders like 2 or 3 times and put other people's lives directly in harm's way. So I'm like, well, look, she should just be chucked off the squad. I mean, she's just dangerous. And she's constantly back-talking Agent Coulson. I know it's not a strict militaristic regime. Someone had done that to Nick Fury. Can you imagine?
Well, for me, my money's on Mac.
Yeah, I think Mac might go. I don't actually think they're going to get rid of Daisy, because they want to do the whole, the Secret Warriors thing with having a team of superpowered people. Well,
yeah, I won't say anything, I won't spoil anything, but that is coming.
Yeah, and for me, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's just a few bad episodes away from me just kind of going, oh, you know what, I'm not interested.
Well, for me, it's jumped the shark a little bit, to the point where it's almost had its ankle bitten off.
You know what, though, I've said this to you before, surely, in this Marvel Comics universe, you can't really jump the shark, because it's already in a universe where you've got a giant green angry guy running around crushing buildings.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not on about being ridiculous, I'm just on about being crap.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and finally, in this week's superhero news, the Sci-Fi Channel are apparently going to show a pilot for a potential series, Krypton, which will focus on Superman's grandfather.
Okay, this could be interesting again, but I've seen so many series like this that kind of come and go and fail just because actually it's an interesting idea for a pilot. I'm just thinking of Battlestar Galactica and Caprica, showing how the robot war started in the colonies of Battlestar Galactica.
But do you know why this series is going to fail?
Why is that?
Because the pilot is being written by David Goyer.
Okay, yeah, he's done some good stuff. But
yeah, but he also co-wrote Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, exactly. He's written too much bad stuff, dude. You just have to question his love of the original source material, don't you?
Yeah, he clearly hates Superman. But that, in a nutshell, quite a big nut, so maybe a coconut as opposed to a macadamia, was this week's superhero news. before we started these superhero news, Dave, I said that we were going to do METH.
Okay, I'm kind of curious now.
Right, so here we are with our first, and we're going to do METH every week.
Okay, is this going to be something I need to tell my wife?
No. METH stands for Movie Events Through History.
Oh, cool, okay.
So what it is today is April the 27th, right?
Right.
So here is a quick rundown of movie events through history that took place on April the 27th. You'll get the gist as we go through. So, on April the 27th, in 1966, Dresser's Girlfriend joins the Five Heartbeats on their tour, and the cover of the group's first album has a white family on the cover instead of pictures of the band, and that's in the movie The Five Heartbeats. In 1982, the Young Playwrights Festival begins in Child's Play. Did you get the idea?
Yeah, I get the idea. It sounds quite cool.
April the 27th, 1994, Nelson Mandela is elected president. What film, Dave?
He's elected president?
Yeah.
In what film?
Yeah.
Surely that really happened, didn't it? I'm confused.
Yeah, it did, but there's a film about it. It's called Invictus.
Invictus. Okay, yeah, Invictus. That was with, I was about to say Jason Bourne then. No, it was Matt Damon.
Yeah. April 27th, 1997, Andrew Cunanan begins his killing spree in the Versace murder.
Yeah, I remember that. I'd forgotten about that. That was kind of weird.
2003, Aaron video records a message to his parents from 127 hours.
Oh, yeah. See, I really enjoyed that film. I don't know about you, but there's nothing... you can watch all the horror movies in your life, and yet one of the things that really gets me is the true story of a guy having to cut off his arm with a blunt penknife.
On April the 27th in 2006, and you should get this one, Dave, Sergeant Nicholas Angel chases and arrests Pete, but no charges are pressed.
Oh, yes, that'd be in Hot Fuzz.
Yep. 2007, whilst test piloting the ESD's first alien hybrid fighter, an unknown malfunction causes the untimely death of Colonel Hillier. That's from Independence Day Resurgence, which is out later this year.
You know what? Did you see the latest trailer for Independence Day Resurgence as well?
No, but I'm predicting it's probably got Jeff Goldblum doing some sciencey stuff and loads of stuff blowing up.
It has. It's got some absolutely humongous spaceships as well. Spaceships the size of the Atlantic Ocean, that kind of stuff.
Fair enough. On April the 27th, in 2008, Rob and Beth have a nice day at Coney Island. Something may have been seen falling from the sky and landing in the ocean.
Okay, I should know this one. Okay, what's that then?
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield, of course.
And finally, in 2010, the date on Kylie Kingston's phone on the day that Kendra Hill 30 transforms him into an unattractive-looking person from the film Beastly.
Yeah, I've seen the start of that.
So that was METH on April the 27th. So how did you like doing METH for the first time, Dave?
I like doing METH. It's, kind of quite spacey, actually. It's kind of like a trip through history.
The closest thing I ever got to doing METH was drinking pure methylated spirits at secondary school.
And how did that work out for you?
I didn't, to be fair, although I'm not sure whether this sounds better or not, I didn't actually drink it neat out the bottle. I kind of doused a cotton wool ball in it and then sucked it off the cotton wool ball.
Okay, and did Mr. Bolster know you were doing this in his chemistry class?
I don't think it was in chemistry. I think it was in, what was the name of the little? Was there two Mr. Locks? Was there a big hairy dude and a little dude?
A big hairy dude makes him sound like a Yeti. Yeah, there was two Mr. Locks, I believe. There was one who was the head of fifth year, wasn't there, and he got into all sorts of trouble after we left. Not trouble, but he had all sorts of concerns with the school over his job. And maybe you should just edit that out so we don't get sued. And there was another one, wasn't there? A biology teacher.
The little dude, yeah.
Yeah.
It was in his class. So I just someone dared me to do it. It seemed like a good idea, so I thought, why not?
Yeah, never a good idea.
Well, I didn't end up being an alcoholic or anything, did I? Because I don't even drink.
Well, don't drink now.
No, I don't drink now. But I didn't go around drinking bottles of... Well, actually, yeah, let's not go there. Right, moving on. It is that time of the show where we go over to Dave for his Week of Geek. This Week of Geek. This Geeky Week. This Week of Geek. This Week of Geek.
Okay, yeah, just a little Week of Geek this week, really. I mean, let's... What have I done this week? TV. What's been on TV recently? Nothing. As you point out, that little tiny 3-minute Doctor Who bit in the middle of an episode of football. Now, I know
Dave, sorry. Now, I know you're not a sports person, but you cannot get away with saying episode of football.
Okay. I was wondering if I'd be allowed to say that. Okay.
It's a football match.
Football match.
It's not a match of football either. It's a football match.
A football match. Okay. Am I really going to be expected, to watch a whole football match just to see this?
Well, technically, they did tell you it was going to be on at half time. So all you needed to do was know when the game started and then wait 45 minutes.
Or just do what I did, which is think, I'm not watching that, and I'm not even coming down at the exact right time and go to BBC iPlayer or the internet a couple of hours later and watch it at your own leisure. That's what I do. But either way, something I've completely forgot to mention last week and the week before, because I've only just got round to reading it, was Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool's Special. Now, are you aware of who is going to be drawing the new Suicide Squad comic in June when DC reboot it, so to speak?
Is this tying in with the film?
I imagine it's not, strictly speaking, tying in with a film.
Okay, but I'm supposed to guess who's drawing it.
Yeah. Who do you think DC would put on a comic just to think, what, we've got a movie coming out, who can we put on it just so that loads of people are going to buy it?
Rolf Harris.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, dude. Yeah, working from his prison cell.
Yeah. It has to be Neil Buchanan.
Neil Buchanan. No, it's not. It's Jim Lee.
Alright, okay, cool.
Okay. So, I haven't been buying the series, but seeing this as a one-off, I thought, what, it's got Jim Lee drawing it. I'm going to give this a shot, and I love Harley Quinn as well, so I bought this, and towards the start, I felt a bit kind of ripped off, because Jim Lee, he drew the first 10 pages, and then someone else took over, and then he drew the last 3 pages. So I was kind of like, hang on.
Is there an explanation as to why?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, actually, because Harley Quinn right at the start, she's doing some stuff, she kind of gets kidnapped and drugged, and then it's a bit like a cartoony dream sequence, where she's trying to be a hero that kind of reforms people and helps bad guys. It all kind of makes sense in the story. It's a Harley Quinn anyway. But the other artist is Sean Galloway. He's got a really kind of cartoony, Scotty young, babyish style, which I actually really liked. The Jim Lee stuff was good. It was Jim Lee. Jim Lee's always good, but I just don't feel his style's changed or evolved in the last 20 years. So I just kind of, what? I like your stuff, but this Galloway guy, I could read a whole comic of this. And I'd happily do it. You know what? It was a throwaway issue. It was good to read. If you want to get a decent idea of what the Suicide Squad are about, and more to the point, what they're coming in June and July, it could be like when they reboot it, then go ahead, buy it. But also I picked up a comic I don't usually buy from Image Comics. I bought The Fix. Now this is a story of two corrupt cops and a job they're going to get sent on by another corrupt cop. And as a first issue, I really loved this. I really enjoyed it. It was quirky, it was funny, it was grown up. You know, it's got the drugs, it's got the sex, it's got violence. It's kind of got a very almost building an LA underworld style about it. And one of the characters in it is a dog. So hey, buy it, check it out. It's worth it. It was only like £2.50, so why not? Have a go. But also, really slow to come out in the last couple of months has been Karnak from Marvel Comics. Glad they finally got back together, though apparently it's reasons that beyond their control. Warren Ellis is writing a really quite dark and bizarre comic. This character Karnak, who is an Inhuman, but you don't need to know anything about the Inhumans. You don't need to know anything else about what's going on in Marvel because it's self-contained. But it's still awesome.
Is this the guy that you talked about a few weeks ago who's got like the lamest power ever?
Yeah, he sees the flaw in all things.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
but it's more than that. He can just touch someone's knee and their knee will just shatter, break. Because he knows this kind of weird kung fu stuff as well. And just in the last issue, there are a bunch of cultists all kind of shouting at this really bizarre volume because they'd all kind of inherited the superpower from another Inhuman. And he kind of listened to them for a few moments, and all the SHIELD agents around him were kind of grabbing their ears, going, no, it hurts. And then Karnak just speaks once. It's a weird comic thing because he speaks, and his speech bubble is just black. And then the cultists, all their heads just explode. And it's kind of really grim and gross. And of course, Agent Coulson, who's also in this issue, turns around and goes, "Oh my god, you're Satan." And of course, Karnak just smiles and goes, "No, I'm Karnak." So it's like, again, there's an explanation of how he makes people's heads explode, briefly, but it's like, you don't need to believe it. It's just, he's Karnak, he can do it. It's just a cool comic. It's just, they don't do this enough, Marvel. They release comics that are self-contained. You don't have to read everything else, because there's too many comics that go, okay, if you read the New Avengers, then you have to read the Uncanny Avengers, and if you read Deadpool, you have to read Deadpool Mercs of the Mount. This, you just have to read Karnak, and it's well worth buying, because it's one issue a month, £2. You're not going to miss £2, are you?
Well, unless that £2 could have bought you a lottery ticket with the winning numbers.
Well, it might do, but then you might spend £2 on a lottery ticket and you not win.
But if you get the winning numbers, you could just pay to have the Karnak artist come over and draw you his own comic.
You could do, yeah, very true. I mean, okay, what can you say? Go and play the lottery, who knows?
Yeah, although we are not obviously advocating any form of gambling whatsoever.
Very true. But also, this week, I was absolutely shocked. Someone shared me a link on my favoured social servers, social network, and it was a new comic shop has opened up in Gloucester. I was like, wow! So, wandered down on my way home. It's, I believe it's called Simon's Collectibles. I may be wrong there. They sell comics. They sell comics, Lego, computer games, retro games like PlayStation 1, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, all sorts of stuff like that.
I bet they've got vinyl pops, haven't they?
They have got vinyl pops. They've got
Everybody sells vinyl pops.
They do, and I'm always tempted to buy some vinyl pops, but once you pop,
you just can't stop.
Yeah, I just end up with a whole house full of pops for mine. It's just, be ridiculous. But yeah, I popped in, I bought 1 or 2 comics. He doesn't sell new comics yet, but I had a chat to the guy. He said he's got a whole bunch of comics, boxes of comics out back, which he's yet to bring forward to the store. He's on Barton Street in Gloucester. So what can I say, people? Go and support him. It's not often a collectible shop opens up in your local city. So anyone listening, just pop up, just buy 1 comic, buy 1 piece of Lego, buy 1 game, who knows. But yeah, that was it. That was my whole week of Geek.
Before we close up your week of Geek, actually, I just wanted to mention I watched a film the other day. I posted a review again, and a plug for the website, silentmovieman.wix.com/World of Stu. Because, and I don't know whether you'll know what film I'm talking about from this description, but Die Hard 4.0, okay, is one of the dumbest action movies I've ever seen. Okay.
Very true, very true.
Now, ignoring the Transformers franchise because they're just ridiculous. Okay, they don't count. They're so dumb that they can't be classed as dumb. Okay. So, in terms of proper, serious action films, so to speak, that are dumb, Die Hard 4.0 was one of the dumbest I'd ever seen. Until I sat down to watch this new action film. Do you know what I'm talking about?
New action film. Could this be Hardcore Henry by any chance?
No, it's not Hardcore Henry. I still want to see that. I am talking about London Has Fallen.
Okay, yeah, because I've seen all the trailers for this, and I wanted to go watch it in the cinema, but I just kind of like, you know what, I didn't get around to it. But I quite like the original.
Right, now I'm with you. I quite enjoyed the original. It came out at the same time as White House Down and was a far better film.
Very true.
But then that's probably got something to do with Gerard Butler being a far better actor than Channing Tatum.
Yeah, Channing Tatum got his place, but I'm not sure if it's in this kind of movie.
No. So I quite enjoyed White House Down, Olympus Has Fallen, okay? So then I went into, and I'm about to spoil this film for you, Dave, just to warn you.
Go ahead. I'm sure the plot isn't anything completely revolutionary.
Now, I've seen action films with terrorists in it before. And I've seen action films with terrorists where they have elaborate plans. But nothing, and I mean nothing, can ever top the sheer ridiculousness of the terrorist plan in this film.
Okay, so what was... I gathered from the trailer, okay, that they kind of blow up parts of London.
No, Dave. They don't just blow up parts of London, right? Okay. The Prime Minister of England dies. Okay? So all the world's dignitaries and world leaders all turn up for the funeral. Now these terrorists attack the funeral, right? Shooting loads of people. They then blow up about 7 or 8 different landmarks in London, all at the same time, as well as blowing up a boat and basically infiltrating the police force and having loads of their people, dressed as police officers, walking around with machine guns just shooting people, right?
Right.
So they end up killing most of the world's leaders, which in the real world would throw the planet into turmoil, correct?
Correct.
Gerard Butler obviously gets the president, Aaron Eckhart, and they escape on a helicopter. Doesn't matter though, because the terrorists know where they're going and shoot the helicopter down with a rocket launcher.
Okay, when I see films like this, I always wonder in the first place, what are the terrorists doing with a rocket launcher?
Right, okay. So the president and Gerard Butler both survived the helicopter crash, as they do. Angela Bassett's not quite so lucky, she gets killed. And then they're running around London, and they go into the tube stations, and they get shot at by people on motorbikes, and then they're in a massive car crash, and the president gets kidnapped, and these terrorists are going to behead him on like the internet and all the rest of it. So then Gerard Butler and the SAS, about 20 of them, infiltrate this building which has got over 100 terrorists in it, save the president, kill everyone with some of the most ridiculous one-liners you've ever heard of in an action film ever in your life. And it then turns out at the end that the British Prime Minister didn't really die. He was murdered as part of the terrorist plan to get everybody to go to London so they could blow everything up.
Okay, that's a bit ridiculous. Is it not just so big and stupid and that it's just kind of fun anyway?
No, it's just so big and stupid. It's just stupid.
Yeah, because I like films with a good bunch of terrorists, in it. Obviously, terrorism isn't anything to laugh at, but when you talk about films like this, I think there's a big difference, and I'm sure you'll agree, in films like, say, Die Hard, where there's a small bunch of terrorists or a small bunch of well-trained terrorists who take over a building, take over a boat or whatever, or manage to take over a White House. It's not an army of terrorists with the most sophisticated weapons you've ever seen. I always find that too unrealistic.
Right, well, going back to Die Hard 4.0, right? You know how stupid the end of that film was, where he's running around on the plane?
I've tried, yeah, it was stupid. I've tried to forget, but yeah, I do remember.
This entire film is like that.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to mention that, and I scored it on the review on our website 2 out of 10. So I actually score it higher than Dawn of Justice, purely on the basis that it didn't have the expectation on it that Batfleck versus Superville did.
Oh, actually, talking of expectation, do you know what else I watched this week?
What?
I watched Pixels.
Oh my god, that film is so bad.
Now hold on a minute, okay? I watched this film thinking, I started to watch this film thinking, oh, you know what, I'll put it on, I'll just sit here and watch it with the kids. And, you know, I didn't have any expectation going into it. And I think that worked for me, because I enjoyed it for what it was. I know, I went into it thinking, Adam Sandler hasn't made a good film in years. You know, how good can this possibly be? And Adam Sandler was a bit annoying, Bridget Moynihan was a bit annoying, the whole alien idea was a bit annoying, seeing video games from the 80s was kind of cool, seeing a giant game of Pac-Man being played out in the streets of New York, I actually quite enjoyed that, I quite liked it. And yeah, I thought it was okay.
See, I went into this film because my wife and kids went and saw it at the cinema and told me it was great and that they loved it. So I went into it. Adam Sandler is as crap as ever. Peter Dinklage, what in the hell is he doing in this film? I have no idea. And when Kubert peed himself, that was it for me.
that was just daft. But I like Kubert anyway. I mean, I think he was quite cute and the rest of it. But I thought it was just an okay movie. It's an okay family-friendly movie. It's never gonna, you know, I'd never think to myself, oh, you know what I want to watch now? I want to watch Pixels again and again. It's never going to happen. But I also watched Star Wars on Blu-ray this week. I finally got around to watching it a second time. The kids were like, watch it again. But for me, again, Star Wars is back, baby. I love it. It's a great movie. Well, I'm not going to say any more about it.
So that was episode 51 of World of Stu. Just winding it up, we should just say you can check us out on our website, which you've already mentioned, on our Facebook page, which is just World of Stu. You can't miss it. You can also check out the official World of Stu artist, Gary Smith, on the folk art of Cactus County. We are, of course, part of the Pancast Productions Network. Just go to pancast.co.uk, check them out. We are also part of the Sobel Nation. We are on Broadway Utopia. No, we're not. We're on Movie Utopia, which is part of Broadway Utopia. Go to broadwayutopia.fm. You'll see a link for Movie Utopia. We are on that on Saturday nights, Eastern Standard Time, which is 2 o'clock Sunday morning, British time. And in closing, I am raising money for cancer by shaving my head bald.
Your head bald?
Yes. So I am braving the shave, as they call it. So you can check that out. There'll be a link on our website and on our Facebook page where I am trying to raise money for cancer, and I will be going completely Kojak, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, bald.
Oh, okay. And what day will you be doing the shave?
April the 1st. Not April the 1st, August the 1st.
August the 1st. Okay, so you've got a little while to get the word out there.
Yes, so we will be trying to raise as much money as possible for cancer. We are going to leave with a song that relates to something to do with the show, as we do always. And this week, Dave, we are going to finish with the song Who I Am. Now, do you know what that is?
Who I Am. I'm trying to think now. Who I Am. Nope, it's gone.
It is the theme tune, it is the theme for Chyna.
Chyna? Oh, okay. I have not heard that for a long time.
Don't treat me like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. Don't treat me like a jumper dog, but don't treat me just like who I am. It sounds exactly like that.
While we mention it, do you think, if she had not tragically passed away, do you think that if she'd have managed to get her act together, there would have ever been the possibility of her having a second run in WWE?
No, purely because of her age.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll go with you there. Yeah, she was a bit too old to go onto it, but
she'll go in the Hall of Fame next year, which she wouldn't have done if she hadn't died.
I'll agree with you on that one as well.
But yeah, there was no way she was going in the unless, well, like I say, because she's died, she'll go in the Hall of Fame. She may have gone into the Hall of Fame in a few years' time if she'd managed to keep her act together, but unfortunately, it would appear that her death proves that she didn't have her act together.
Yeah, quite sad there, but it's I'm not sure what it is with drugs in the world of wrestling, but yeah, perhaps it's a lifestyle. I don't know.
It's that damn Vince McMahon. You heard it here first, last, and never again, because I don't want to get sued. So we are going to leave with Who I Am. It just leaves me time to thank everyone for listening, and thank you once again, Dave.
Always fun, always welcome.
Here we are with Who I Am, and until next week, keep it geek.
Don't treat me like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. Don't treat me like you know me. Treat me for just who and what I am. Don't treat me like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. Don't treat me like you know me. Just treat me for who and what I am. Don't treat me like a woman. Don't treat me like a man. Don't treat me like you know me.
I brought up Chyna. Man, she had a hell of a run here. Will she ever go into the Hall of Fame?
You know, that's one of those questions. Does she deserve to go in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely. It's not just as easy as should this person go in the Hall of Fame. Completely, 100% transcended the business, changed the business, paradigm shifter of the business, right? Did what no woman ever did before, and a phenomenal talent.
The ninth wonder of the world, making history, the first woman ever to enter the Royal Rumble match. And there goes Mark Henry.
I think I proved to the world that I could beat any man at any time. I am the only female Intercontinental Champion in the history of the WWF.
Chyna is the WWF Women's Champion.
If you guys can't handle the heat, stay out of my kitchen.
From a career standpoint, should she be in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely. But we can't because of this reason.
Right.
I got an 8-year-old kid. And my 8-year-old kid sees Hall of Fame, and my 8-year-old kid goes on the internet to look at, it's Chyna. I never heard of her. So I go type that in and I punch it up, and what comes up? I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm not criticizing lifestyle choices. Everybody has their reasons. I don't know what they were, and I don't care to know. And it's not a morality thing or anything else. It is just the fact of what it is. That's a difficult choice.
Well, I had my doubts because, I've often heard people say also, is it real? It's television. But is the storyline real? So I found a love letter from Stephanie McMahon that had been dated from the previous year. So I knew that there was a year affair going on. Then I went home and I got a fax saying they were meeting.
What you are looking at is the near perfect completion of the perfect plan. These fans continue to change right in the direction of the heavily very comfortable.
There's a misconception out there in the media about everything that I've done. I'm this monster or something, In the meantime, I'm just trying to get a job, man, I'm just trying to move on. When you pull out a tape with somebody, that's one thing. But then when that person goes to the country of China and makes a deal for a porno, that's so violating.
Break that down. We're talking about X-Pac now. And you guys filmed yourselves having sex and no intention, as far as you're concerned, of anyone else seeing this ever. And then he fucked you too.
Yeah, but why would my name be tarnished when this guy is still on TV and still with his buddies and still backed by the WWE?
There is no beef on this side with anything. And I mean that 100%.
I was literally on top of the world. For me to walk into that business, I was the only female on the road. I had a great relationship with Hunter. I was in love with him very much. Those were the best days of my life. Wonderful opportunities, and I'm very grateful for those days.
All those special times I spent with you, my love, they don't mean shit, but I don't really mind. I've got much more than that, like my memories. I don't need that. Don't say you need me when you leave and you leave again. I'm stronger than all my men, but you do it better.
My true ambition when I first started was to help the women, and I do believe that I've paved the way. And I want to say to the fans for their amazing support throughout this whole thing that I love them, and it's incredible the support that I've had. Thank you very much.